Cabinet has decided that all of New Zealand south of the Auckland boundary will move to level 3 at 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, August 31. We'll review these settings at Cabinet a week later on Monday, the 6th of September. For those in Auckland and Northland, so from the southern Auckland boundary to the very top of the country, you will remain in level 4. At Cabinet this coming Monday, the 30th of August, we'll consider how long Auckland and Northland will continue to remain in level 4 before we review those settings again. We'll use the data we will have from a full 2 weeks of lockdown. That will put us in the best possible position to give you as much certainty about the future as we can. But I do want to indicate now that based on the size of the outbreak, which is larger than August last year and potentially closer in scale to our original outbreak at the beginning of 2020, the number of daily cases we are seeing, and the need to see a sustained reduction in cases before moving alert levels, it is likely at this stage that Auckland will remain at level 4 for a period of a further 2 weeks. This is so we can get Delta under control and reopen fully and safely. We simply can't do that if we still have a lot of Delta circulating in the community. To move safely down, we will need to be confident we've stamped it out and have cases contained and isolated. Firstly, some of you will want to know why we have included Northland in a continuation of level 4 at this stage. We've made that decision because of the recent case in Warkworth and the need for more data and further contact tracing in order to better assess the risk there. Although Warkworth has been included in the Auckland boundary in the past, we're concerned about the potential movement of people through that part of the country on northbound journeys. We're also concerned that one of the exposure sites in Warkworth, while closed to the public, is a relatively large workplace. We want to be as careful as possible, and I hope the good people of Northland understand why we want to move with care, given those common transit routes. That is not to say that Northland and Auckland will continue to be treated the same way in the long term. That is unlikely, but we're not in a position to give an exact time frame just yet. When we confirm Auckland settings in a few days' time, this coming Monday, we'll update you on our thinking for the region. And again, a reminder to Aucklanders, that firm decision of how long you'll be in alert level 4, we have not made yet. What we're giving at this stage is our most likely scenarios. That update will again be on Monday. The second question people may ask is, why are we keeping the rest of the country at level 4 for a few extra days, especially the South Island? 3 reasons. The first is that will give us the confidence of an almost full 14-day cycle since our first case was discovered, especially given we had contacts across all parts of the country and over 300 in the South Island. The second reason is that we do have cases in Wellington that, while currently contained, did have contacts that are further testing due over the coming days. As I've said, we also have those contacts in the south, and that full 2-week transmission cycle is very, very helpful in terms of our confidence. And thirdly, we did see a positive wastewater result in the South Island, namely Christchurch yesterday. As noted by ESR yesterday, it's likely that this is a result of positive cases in a managed isolation facility, but further tests in a few extra days will allow us to better answer that question, and those more refined tests over different catchments are underway as we speak. As you can see from next week, our alert level settings will differ across the country, so a reminder of the rules. This isn't the first time that we have had different settings, but it will be the first time we have a level 4 and a level 3 operating at the same time. A quick reminder of the rules. There is no regional travel allowed across these alert levels, except for alert level 4 workers who need to cross a boundary to go to work or who have an exemption for another reason. No one will be able to move from one alert level to another without an exemption to do so, and the reasons for doing so are very limited. When the North Island outside of Auckland and Northland moves to alert level 3 next week, we will reactivate the boundaries south of Auckland that we used in February, which took in all of the Auckland region, Port Waikato and parts of northern Waikato. The usual checkpoints will be in place. Officials, including from the police, have been working on making sure that the boundary will work as smoothly as possible. A couple of pieces of advice as we prepare for these boundaries next week. If you're an essential worker and are living in Auckland but working outside of it, please ensure your employer prepares and submits an application nice and early for you to be able to continue to work across the boundary. This only applies to workers who are already working in Alert Level 4. The MB Business Travel Document System will be open for applications from midday Sunday at business.gov.nz for those businesses with Level 4 essential workers who will need to cross the regional boundary. If you are not an essential worker, you are not allowed to cross the boundary. Brief reminder of what Level 3 will involve, and I'll keep this brief and provide a recap on Monday. Level 3 is a very much watch and wait level. It's a crucial insurance policy. If by some chance there are still cases out there we have not picked up, the ability for those cases to spread remains limited under Level 3. What we want is to be able to gradually move down the levels with confidence and certainty that we're not putting Kiwis and our wider elimination strategy at risk. Level 3 allows us to give people and businesses more freedoms, but without jeopardising the progress and gains that are being made. Businesses can open as long as they can do so safely and offer services that don't involve close personal contact. So that means retail can operate, but only with click and collect. The same goes for things like takeaways. This can only be accessed via delivery, drive-through or contactless pickup. Alert Level 3 does not permit more social activities, and bars and restaurants stay closed except for click and collect. At Level 3, contact with others needs to stay minimised. Bubbles remain. I'll expand on Monday about how Level 3 does allow small changes to bubbles to ensure care for vulnerable or isolated family members, but the principle remains. We want you to limit contact as much as possible and stay home as much as possible. That's also why at Level 3 children should only go to school if their parents are required to work and there is no option available. Ultimately, schools for the most part do remain closed except for those workers where there are no other options available for their care of their children. Public venues remain closed. Gatherings outside your bubble are not permitted with the exception of groups of 10 for wedding services, funerals and tangihanga. Masks continue to be important at Level 3 as well. Mask wearing is mandatory for workers in any business and services that are open and outwardly facing. The same goes for customers. If you're picking up food or a contactless coffee, you have to wear a mask. This is to protect yourself and others. Masks remain mandatory on all public transport, but ultimately we're strongly encouraging you to continue to wear a face covering anytime you're outside your home and in a place where it's hard to keep your distance from others. But as I say, there'll be time to go over these settings again on Monday. I want to finish by thanking everyone who's played such an important role in getting us to this point. In the last 7 days alone, 270,382 tests have been completed, equal to 5.5% of the population. That is just incredible. Each test provides an important part of the puzzle and makes our job that much easier. Every test has helped keep the team of 5 million safe. Now, we just need to keep going.